Hi, everybody, and welcome back to LL Sports TV. Hope you're all doing well. One of the current fastest rising stars in boxing, Keyshawn Davis of Norfolk, Virginia, was this weekend supposed to have made the first defense of his WBO lightweight title, which he won when he annihilated Denis Berinchik of the Ukraine inside a couple of rounds back in February of this year. Now, the venue in Norfolk, in Keyshawn Davis's hometown, was sold out or close to being sold out. I'm hearing over 10,000 tickets sold. And this fight was being seen as a great trade fight. The fight was to have been against Edwin De Los Santos. Edwin De Los Santos of the Dominican Republic. Like I said, Keyshawn Davis, currently considered one of the bright young lights of boxing, former Olympic silver medalist for America, 13 fights, 13 wins, 9 knockouts, with a really entertaining fight style. He's also quite a, how can I put it, outgoing and extroverted character, very confident, always has a lot to say. And as I said, his recent performances have been very good and it's been catching a lot of attention. Meanwhile, Edwin De Los Santos, I mean, he's no slouch either. He's also a very good fighter. A professional record of 18 fights, 16 wins, 14 by KO, couple of losses on points. One of those losses was in his last fight, actually, to Shakur Stevenson. That fight was notable because Edwin De Los Santos, it wasn't notable for the action in the ring. It was quite a boring fight, actually. But one of the things it was notable for, it was noticeable that Edwin De Los Santos had Shakur Stevenson on the back foot pretty much all night. Had him twitchy, had him looking very intimidated in there. So obviously, Shakur Stevenson felt that power and thought to himself, he's not going to engage. But Edwin De Los Santos is not just a puncher. He's a very talented fighter. He's very athletic. He's skilled. He can throw good combinations. He's a southpaw. He's never been dropped, from what I can see, or stopped. So this would have been a real fight. And a lot of people said that this could have been a potential banana skin for Keyshawn Davis. And Keyshawn Davis, by the way, has been given a lot of credit in a lot of quarters for making the first defense of his title against Edwin De Los Santos. He effectively chose De Los Santos for his first defense, so he was given a lot of credit for that. So that's some backdrop to the fight. However, this fight will now not take place because at the weigh-in, Keyshawn Davis, I don't know how he managed to do it, but he did. He weighed in 4.5 pounds over the lightweight limit. The lightweight limit is 135 pounds. Keyshawn Davis weighed in at 139.5 pounds. Ridiculous. And what was also noticeable, because I actually watched the weigh-in, is that he didn't even try to, run backstage and attempt to try and shed the 4.5 pounds. Instead of that, the man was on the stage flexing and stuff like that. So he clearly knew that he was overweight coming in. He had no intentions of trying to strip off the extra weight. And that's poor from him. He was stripped of his WBA title. The fight will now not take place because Edwin De Los Santos and his team, they rejected an offer from Bob Arum to negotiate the fight going ahead. I think what the plan was from Bob Arum was to offer Edwin De Los Santos some extra money and try and get him to take the fight. Edwin De Los Santos and his team rejected that offer. They've issued a statement saying that they're prioritizing the health of their fighter. They feel that their fighter would have been put at a severe disadvantage. And you know what? I absolutely agree with him. I think they've done exactly the right thing. Had I been in that situation with one of my fighters, or if I had fighters, I would have said exactly the same thing. Because at the end of the day, they are placing their fighter at an extreme disadvantage, especially at those lower weights. 4.5 is a massive amount of weight. Also, these guys have got to rehydrate, so there's no telling what weight Keyshawn Davis will come into the ring at. So, yeah, I think they did absolutely the right thing. And I think it's a very poor look for Keyshawn Davis. I mean, listen, I'm sure Edwin De Los Santos drew reference. In fact, they issued a statement to that effect where they said that they learned from the Devin Haney fight. You may remember Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia fight. Ryan Garcia came in 3 pounds over the weight, didn't attempt to shed the extra 3 pounds. managed to negotiate with Devin Haney where the fight would still go ahead. The fight went ahead. Devin Haney took a pretty bad beating. And yes, that fight was overturned because of the subsequent adverse findings in Ryan Garcia's drug test. But whatever, the beating will stay with Devin Haney. So, there's lessons to be learned there. So, yeah, I don't blame Team Edwin De Los Santos for rejecting that offer from Bob Arum. But anyway, to go back to the matter at hand, the upshot of all this is that Keyshawn Davis is now being heavily criticised. There's been a lot of fallout and a lot of negative fallout as far as Keyshawn Davis is concerned. And in my view, the criticism is totally justified. For a man who calls himself the businessman, for Keyshawn Davis, this was real bad business malpractice and a real major setback for his career. I've got to say, he's been totally unprofessional. And I would go further than that. Many people would consider this type of thing cheating. If you're deliberately coming in 4.5 pounds over the weight, that is not a good look at all. That could easily be regarded as somebody that's looking to get an extreme advantage. So yeah, if people say that he's cheating, you can't really argue with that too much. To miss the weight by 4.5 pounds for me, especially at those low weights, is nigh on unforgivable. It's a real car crash for Keyshawn Davis. And in my view, it could take him a little while to get over this. It's bad on so many levels for Keyshawn Davis. Not only as a personal embarrassment for him, he's let himself down, he's let his promoter down, he's let his training team down, he's let the fans down who paid good money. This was his first defense in his hometown. Apparently, they'd rolled out the carpet for celebs. Michael Vick, former NFL player, he was due to be in the house. Terence Crawford, one or two other people, celebrities announced were going to be in the house. So it's a bad look all round. And even in financial terms, Keyshawn Davis won't get paid for this fight. Also, he's even further out of pocket because I would imagine he's accrued a substantial amount of training expenses in terms of sparring partners, paying for his trainer, all sorts of things. So it really is a bad look. And it's all his own fault. And I've got to say that he's been so unprofessional that it borders on disbelief for me how he could have got this so badly wrong. And I've got to say this as well. It's been said by some people in the game. I've seen the stuff online that would suggest that Keyshawn Davis, especially since winning the title, is starting to show a less than what could be called pleasant side of himself. There are reports that he's been acting up. He's been acting like a bit of a diva. He's been rude to people, being insolent. He's been accused by some in the press of being rude and arrogant when it comes to interviews. Not a good look. And when you consider also that back in 2022, Keyshawn Davis failed a drugs test. It was for marijuana, so it wasn't performance enhancing. But nevertheless, he failed a drugs test. He was given a 9-month suspension. Now, you would have thought he would have heeded that warning and, learnt the lessons from that. But it would appear that there is another side to Keyshawn Davis that needs to be worked on. So, yeah, that's a very embarrassing and humbling experience for Keyshawn Davis. What does he do next? Well, he said that he's outgrown the weight. He's outgrown lightweight, which clearly he has. He said he's going to move up to junior welterweight, which I'm sure he'll do that. However, who does he fight? I know he said previously that he wants to fight the WBO junior welterweight champion of the world, who is another character, Teofimo Lopez. Those two, Keyshawn Davis and Teofimo Lopez, have beef that goes way back. But it would appear that Teofimo Lopez, if what we're hearing and what we're seeing online is to be believed, he's pouring cold water on those suggestions. He said he's not interested in that fight. So that's probably not going to happen. And if it does, it's not going to happen anytime soon. So it's going to be a bit of a onerous way back for Keyshawn Davis. I don't know where he goes from here. Well, I know that he's not going to retire, obviously. But it is nevertheless a chastening experience for Keyshawn Davis. I just hope he learns the lessons from this. He is 26 years old. He's not 21, but he's still relatively a young man. I mean, he should be like showcasing his talents and optimizing his career, riding that wave. But this is a major setback for him. But one, hopefully he can bounce back from, because like I said, he is a very, very talented fighter. I was personally very much looking forward to seeing this fight. However, he's let himself down, which is a shame. But anyway, that's all from me. Thanks for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. And I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.